But what happens when they start attracting younger players? What if they start... I mean, let's just look on it, for instance, at the moment, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but Harry Kane, 1 year left on his contract, could be on the move this summer. What if Saudi Arabia came in and, offered Tottenham, said, listen, we want Harry Kane so bad, we'll give you not 100 million, what you're asking for him, we give you 150 million or 200 million. And then basically pay Harry Kane what he wants. Victor Osimhen, who's, probably available for Napoli, but would cost mega money. What if the Saudis come in and say, we'll give you 200 million for Osimhen? Napoli are not going to turn that down. It's going to be down to the player, whether he want to go over there and play or not. And what if... Hi, and welcome along to the transfer roundup with the Oracle. I told you lot about this Saudi league. I warned you that the Saudis are coming, and they are here. And we're going to debate that today amongst a whole host of other topics. Joining me to discuss all the latest transfer news, we got Matisse here.
Thank you.
Or should I say Al Matisse?
Yes.
In the building.
Saudi
right?
saves my club.
Mega Chelsea fan, as you know. Man United's finest. We've got Flex from United View.
We got.
And Doyle is joining us here from the COP TV.
Thank you for having me.
Talk all things Liverpool and many more. And of course, you guys, we want as many of you involved in the show as possible. Just before we start the show, I've got to remind everybody about the Claude Cup, which is taking place on Saturday, the 24th. That's this Saturday. It's going to be happening at the New River Sports Centre. It's going to be brilliant. We've got a DR Sports All-Stars team, which is managed by Expressions and KG, and AFTV All-Stars team managed by myself. It's going to be big. We're raising money for the Gunnar Claude Trust. So please try and make it down there on the day. We're also going to have like a donation page where people can donate to that great cause. They do things like sending kids to football and stuff like that. It's really is a good charity in the great man's memory. Right, lots of transfer news to get stuck into. First of all, there's this sort of breaking news that we were just told about just as we were about to go live, that Gary O'Neill, the manager of Bournemouth, the guy who saved them last season from relegation, has been sacked this morning by Bournemouth. Absolutely incredible news. Matisse, instant reaction. I mean, this sounds so unfair.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He's done an incredible job. Nobody gave them a prayer. Nobody said they could stay up. They made a whole song and dance about that, I think, in a tweet. If it wasn't them, then it was Fulham. But they had no right to really stay up with the kind of team that they had in terms of the investment and whatnot. And he done a miraculous job. So I don't really understand what's happened. Obviously, it's just breaking news. Maybe if there's been a falling out or it's a mutual consent kind of decision. But I don't really understand what's going on there, because that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Unless they're bringing in Pep Guardiola after him, lad, what's the point in doing it, genuinely? Because they must have somebody that's a world-class manager lined up with a plan and a structure going forward, because what he did with them was fantastic. He beat teams like Liverpool, beat them 1-0 after they got beaten 9-0 at Anfield. So I don't understand it, I really don't. They were one of the most surprising teams last season, without a doubt.
Yeah, you can't help but look at it from like outside, saying little old Bournemouth should be happy that they even stayed in the, like what on earth were they thinking? But like Doyle said, there has to be a mega plan, and like we said just before we go live, it has to work. Yeah, it has to work, because if you sat a manager that kept you up quite comfortably in the end, play good football. If I'm just trying to think of it from two sides though, like from the club of like maybe why they arrived at this position, Gary O'Neill arrived there when they didn't really project for him to be there. That wasn't the plan. Yeah. Scott Parker kind of got sacked. There was a bit of limbo, and he came in and done well. Your team know all about someone coming in, doing well, but you go, that's not the plan though. So I know it's a different end of the table of winning, Champions Leagues and stuff, but then departing with managers. But maybe Bournemouth went, we had this plan for after Scott Parker. We're going to stay true to it. We believe in it. We've retained Premier League status, and we're going to go in that plan. I wouldn't personally do that.
Maybe the plan was to get relegated, and they're like, yo, no one asked you to keep us up. Everybody said we were going down. The plan was to go down.
We don't want to start next year, and someone comes and takes you from us.
Yeah, we wanted to win the Championship next season. Now we're still in the Premier League. This is ridiculous.
This guy tented him here. He says, big up to Bournemouth. for actually sacking Gary O'Neill. New ownership, and they want to go for a better manager. O'Neill only did well because there were 3 worse teams than them. Although I think he did a lot better than that. He did a lot better than that. And there's someone else here, Martin Jesper, who says, what the F? He says, if Bournemouth have sacked Gary O'Neill, I really hope they get relegated this coming season. And there's a lot of people saying that.
There's no loyalty
There's a lot of
to him.
people saying that. That is a surprise one. Another surprise one is Brendan Rodgers. He's gone back to Celtic. Has agreed a new deal at Celtic.
Might change his mind now and go back to Bournemouth. Or go to Bournemouth.
You're surprised he didn't sort of wait on another Premier League team?
It's one of them.
Going back to Celtic?
I don't think any other Premier League team, other than somebody like Bournemouth, really, that could get a Brendan. I don't see where he could fit in. I think he's going back to what he knows. The Celtic have fell off a little bit, and he wants to get them back where they were. So I don't. It's his home a little bit.
Stat pad. It is.
It is.
Stat pad. You go over there, guaranteed you're going to pick up trophies. Brendan Rodgers is head and shoulders better than every manager in that league, probably combined. And Celtic have got more money than anyone.
This
in that
is mad
league.
as well, because in reality, Gary O'Neill had a better season than Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah, he did.
It's not easy to be an intermittent manager, and you know that because you've had 3 of them in your team, lad. And he did wonderfully well with the tools that he was left with. So I'm going back to the Bournemouth thing, but I just don't get it. I really don't. It's blew me man, lad.
Celtic
Yeah,
are in the Champions League though, so that's
Still low, lads.
As a big lover of Brendan Rodgers, people say he's done and he bottled it with Leicester. Had a couple of opportunities to get into the top 4 of Leicester and bottled it in a couple of seasons on the bounce. Man United picked them to it one time in COVID, and then another time. I think they spent like the most time in the top 4 without actually getting it. But like, I still think he's a proper good manager, man. But now I've seen him do this. It's like, I don't know. You've clocked the level of Celtic already. Like
they're just under trouble.
Yeah,
Exactly,
like you can't really eclipse that unless he does something mad in Europe with them.
He's going back to safe, lad.
And
That's what he's doing.
I feel. Don't get me wrong. You can have a hard time, and who are we to tell someone what to do on a personal if they feel that they need to, go back and do something? But I'm like, I want to see you go and prove these guys wrong. Who are saying, listen, you reached the pinnacle with Chelsea, with Leicester. You did it. You did it after. Celtic before he was with Liverpool, but that's all you are. Like, I want to see him go and prove something, but it goes back to what you said, Doyle. Where in this country?
Is
Is this damage control?
Well,
Is that what this is?
maybe he could have went to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's true, lad.
Right
It's
now.
true.
What a segue that was. That wasn't really a segue. That wasn't really a segue, Robbie.
Do this for
I know what you're
Right
doing.
now,
It's fine. You know what I mean?
Right now, Saudi Arabia is on the attack. They are taking big names. Now, we already knew there was Cristiano Ronaldo, and then they went Benzema. And I said it about a few weeks ago. I go, what when they start coming for younger players?
Yeah.
And they've done that now. Ruben Neves, he's had his medical, and he's going to be joining Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. Personal terms agreed. Remember, Ruben Neves, only 26. He's signing a 3-year deal. Wolves are going to get £47 million, so great for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they're getting the max money for the player. He'll be on some unbelievable wages. And another player going to Saudi Arabia. N'Golo Kante is on his way there from Chelsea. Also, we've been told Koulibaly looks set to sign for one of them clubs in Saudi Arabia.
Ziyech as well.
And Ziyech as well is being looked at. And Edouard Mendy. All these signings, 4 of those signings there, coming from Chelsea. Now, this now...
You lot are spamming the league, bro.
Now, all of a sudden...
Disgusting.
All of a sudden, there's been accusations made against Chelsea. He's shaking.
You lot are disgusting.
He's shaking there. But there's been accusations made against Chelsea because what it is, it turns out that there's the Saudi investment fund have invested money in the company that owns Chelsea. Now, all of a sudden, Chelsea, who we know had big problems and needed to offload a load of players before the end of this month, Koulibaly's heading there. Kante's heading there. Well, I know Kante was on a free, so right, but he's heading there, right? Ziyech could be heading there. I mean, you put a tweet out yesterday, Matisse, saying, I'm hearing people are crying that Saudis want Champions League level players in Ziyech, of Ajax. He put Koulibaly of Napoli and Aubameyang of Barcelona.
not the one of Chelsea.
Cedric Lokonga and Holding. That's crazy, bro.
Oh, you're a bad
But
person, Matisse.
what are Chelsea up to with this? Come on, Matisse, explain this now. Saudis have invested money in Chelsea. Now, all of a sudden, this looks
terrible.
like another Todd Bowley loophole. Before we've seen the previous 8-year contracts and stuff like that, which has been shut down. Now he's sending players to Saudi Arabian teams that have the same Saudi companies that's invested in Chelsea. What's going on?
I think it's fair to say that, first of all, Saudi have invested in Clear Lake Capital.
Which owns Chelsea.
And yes, as that consortium, Todd Bowie representing Egbali, they own us. So it's going through, you know, another company.
But it's Chelsea.
Now. It's not really us, because if they directly invested in us,
It's the company that owns Chelsea.
Yeah, but if they directly invested in us, they're investing in a company that they have representatives.
And
that
then
run
all
us.
of a sudden now, Chelsea are offloading a load of their players over to the same people who invested.
I think people are trying to do a lot here, because at the end of the day, Saudi are investing in Muslim players, right, at the moment, a lot of them, and they're trying to grow their game. Now, we were never to foresee that Saudi were going to do this. It's just come about that they want to become China 2.0 and they want to invest. Now, Koulibaly is a massive name. One of the biggest, probably, Muslim players out there. Same goes for, you know, Champions League winning Mendy in terms of goalkeeping, and the same goes for, you know, Ziyech as well, of Ajax, and Kante. These are not small players. We're not selling academy products for 50 million to Saudi. That's dodgy. But once we sell these players to them, we're not going to sell Gallagher to them. Lukaku's rejected them. We're not getting all our own way.
But hold on. Would you be the sort of money you're getting for, say, a Koulibaly?
We're not getting that much money.
Would you have got that for elsewhere? Would you have even had anybody who take on those players right now on the wages that they're on?
Yeah.
The players would probably be going on loan to Serie A at best. Yes. But they're not bad players. That doesn't mean they're bad players.
But Saudis are taking them.
Saudis taking a lot of
massive
players.
wages.
No, hold on. No one was interested in Ronaldo. Ronaldo went to Saudi.
No, but hold on.
No one complained about that.
Let me just ask you specifically on the Chelsea players, right? So Koulibaly, what's he on per week?
Probably about 290k.
290k.
Yeah.
What other club?
What other club would have come for Ronaldo?
What other club in European football would have taken Koulibaly, looking at his form last year, on £290,000?
That'd be less money.
There's a lot of clubs.
Hold
on a second.
No, but then he wouldn't move, would he? He'd be like, I'm staying in.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Now we can
easy for
go
them to move the players.
get more wages.
There's loads of players that have gone to Saudi that would not. Where would they be going? Where would Kante? Have you seen any offers for Kante? Have we seen any offers from European teams? Have we seen any teams offer Ronaldo what he wants? No.
Why do you keep bringing Ronaldo up?
Because hold on. The reason,
players.
because why are we focusing on the Chelsea players?
Because there's quite a few.
No, but there's other examples coming from other clubs that we don't pay attention to. Neves is going there. Yeah. No one's coming with a bid for Neves.
Name me another club that's got about 3-4 players.
That's just fortunate that we have 3 Muslim players that they're interested in. Like I said, a lot of Muslim players are going there.
Neves is not Muslim.
Well, like I said, it's easier for Muslim players to go over
come
there.
On, man. Hold up to
Because
I know you're under
easier for them to go.
I know it's not you. You seem to be under the cosh.
Bro, there's not a lot of players.
Like he's in the dock right now.
But the thing is, the players are on high wages because we've overpaid them. We're not getting 50 million for Koulibaly. We're not getting 50 million for Mendy. We're selling them at a loss.
The wages.
You're getting rid of those wages.
Yeah.
You've got problems at the moment with financial fair play. So getting those wages off the bill, 290k a week for Koulibaly.
Yeah.
Kante must be on at least 200. What's he on?
He's probably on like 300.
300 grand a week.
But he's free agent.
Right.
And he deserves to, because he was one of the best players in the world.
Also,
same money as Saka.
Edouard Mendy, what's he on?
Probably like 30k. Not on much. Didn't get a new contract. What are you getting at here, Robbie?
Well,
I'm getting on. It sounds dodgy. That's what I'm getting on.
And do you know what else? Just to add to this, right? We were all laughing at Chelsea for spending £500 million, right? We're like, why are they doing this? This is unprecedented. No one spends this much money. But it makes sense if they know at the end of the season they're going to be offloading this many players and all their wages to a Saudi team. So this could have been in the line for a long time. You've got to remember, the people that own these clubs are businessmen, and they don't have plans for 6 months at a time. They have plans for 5 years, 1 year, 2 year, 3. They think ahead. So Bowley's went in here and he's already had this planned. I know he has, lad. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just feel like it has aligned too much with it, lad. It definitely has.
For me, I think we need to stop dressing this thing up And in the words of Ty, Chelsea are a disgrace and a cheat. Let's just say what this really is. They are opportunists, and there is a team, or there is a state that is having an influx right now of players from around the world. I agree with your point there.
Why don't the rest of you do that?
What?
Why don't you
get players? If someone comes in, yeah.
Why don't the rest of you fly to Saudi, have a meeting, and say you don't want
No,
you don't want Holding, you don't want Eric Bailly, you don't want Phil Jones or whoever you've got.
Yeah.
Why don't you go over there, fly there, have a meeting, and get rid of the players?
I'm not dissing the fact that the connection's there. I'm saying don't deny it. I'm saying let's not say that it's this or it's this.
But hold on.
What the reason is? The reason is they've got money to give and you need to offload players.
Okay.
They got something you want. You got something they want. It's transactional.
But are these players not of value to what they're trying to build in Saudi, which is grow the game and grow the league? Are they not good players?
Absolutely.
If Chelsea didn't have Koulibaly, Kante, Ziyech, I'm not naming any bums. I'm naming very good top players, right?
They're players that you don't think are bums because you don't want them no more.
Yep, no, we have an oversized squad and we have too many players we need to get rid of. If we were Liverpool and we were trying to flog Harvey Elliott or Jones, do you think Saudi?
No, they're not going to want them players.
Do you think it would benefit?
I'm not. Right, I agree with that. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that we can't just miss the fact that conveniently you've got to get rid of all these. That's what I'm saying. It's transactional.
And I think
I'm just saying it's purely business. I
think the big thing is that the
Saudis.
The Saudi investment,
we are fortunate.
The Saudi investment fund have invested in
Chelsea.
the company that owns Chelsea, and that's why it looks
a couple of percent.
That there is nothing.
And even if it's a couple of percent of millions and billions.
What companies do Kroenke or the Glazers run? What is to stop? There's no rule to say that Saudis can't invest in companies or the ownerships that you have.
Of course not.
Saudi,
because we're just saying it looks a bit dodgy at the moment. This is a thing.
It's not really though when you take away the fact that, okay, everybody had a lot of scaremongering, a lot of fear-mongering. Chelsea are not going to be able to comply with FFP. Chelsea are not going to be able to get rid of all these players. And unfortunately, whether you guys like it or not, there is a Saudi out there who are willing to buy a lot of players, and we have players they want to buy. You guys are just upset because it's kind of fortunate that it's happened for us. What you're saying is if you could offload as much players that we can to these people, you'd do it too. That's what you're saying. You would.
Yeah, and that's not my gripe. My gripe's not that. My gripe is let's not dress it up than anything other than what it is, which is a transactional situation between a state that has money to burn and want a hand to launch their World Cup bid in 2030. This is going to go massive for football in that region. That's why there's this influx of players in there versus a consortium or Todd Bowley, you know the dynamics more than me at Chelsea, that has come in, spent all that money, wasted all that money, and got a lot of players on the books that they have to trim this squad. And here's a proposition that presents Chelsea with the opportunity to get rid of these players just like that. It's just transactional. It's not to do with like Muslim players. I just think it's just purely business. You know why? Because Todd Bowley has proved already that he knows 100%. He's proved that he's fantastic at business. Let's be honest. He's proved that he can exploit loopholes. Enzo Fernandez, he got an extension the other day. Triggered. So it's all to players signing 8-year contracts. Let's not act like Todd Bowley coming into Chelsea has just been a normal thing. He's just a superb businessman.
So he's not stupid.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say he's stupid. I'm saying he's just a superb
businessman. Because a lot of people, the narrative is that Bowley doesn't know what he's doing. He's very stupid. Then when he does something like this, people want to complain and start getting angry that he's found.
This is
that's what I was saying.
The reason why I mention this a lot of Muslim players is because obviously Saudi is a Muslim practicing state, right? And they feel more comfortable obviously going over there, doing their practices, and obviously
of course
there's interest because they're a lot older and they're coming towards the end of their careers. We haven't got rid of Lukaku to Saudi. He's rejected them. We can't get Gallagher.
He's Muslim as well.
But you wanted to get rid of him.
We can't get Gallagher, but he feels like he's in his prime.
But hold on, again,
though,
it's a player you were looking to move on.
Yes,
to one of those. And let me just remind you as well, there's 4 clubs, right, that seem to be picking up all these players, and those are the 4 clubs that have been invested in by that same Saudi investment fund. Forget Newcastle for a minute. The Saudi investment fund own
the same people that own Newcastle.
They are the same people that own Newcastle.
So where's the complaint?
Because these are your players going to these 4 clubs in particular.
These are the 4 clubs that are taking everyone. They took Benzema.
No, I do think it's
Ronaldo. They're taking everyone.
Let me get
top 4 clubs.
I agree with you that.
Let me rattle through some super chats. There's loads of them
China,
coming
then
in.
you do it to China.
Yeah.
Loads of them coming in. And don't forget to like the video if you're loving this. Right. Big up to Adrian Sheikh. He says, interesting to see that Partey sold over value to Saudi but there's nothing about it. Double standards. Arsenal are paying 60 million for Havertz too. Well, Partey hasn't been sold yet.
But he's going, isn't
right? He could go. It depends whether
for above market.
No, but you see, this is the point I'm trying to make here. It's different, right? All teams will possibly take advantage of it if they can offload a player that they're trying to get rid of. But I think the specifics in here where they have invested in Chelsea, then all of a sudden, all these Chelsea players are heading that way. It looks dodgy.
That adds some inverted
Alex,
it's a business plan. That's what it is. You've both mutual beneficiaries from this. If they go, here's some money, and then when we give you this
loophole.
money, we're going to have
it's another loophole like the 8-year one that we heard.
But loopholes are there. That's what they are.
Let me get through somebody's super chat. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Alex says Arsenal fans writing 60-page Twitter threads about Chelsea. Jonathan says Chelsea are playing Football Manager in real life. Kieran Pitts
they are doing that.
Stop hating on us. We have our Saudi connections. Build up your own connections rather than crying about everything that we do. LJ Brown says these Saudi balling Chelsea need to be investigated. In fact, they should block Matisse's trip to New York to make sure he wasn't involved in it too.
Matisse in the negotiations, yeah, that was you.
Mohsin says Salah will go to Saudi next year, guaranteed. He's an absolute superstar in the Arab world. We're going to ask. I'll ask you about that in a minute, Doyle.
Yeah.
Kira says Robbie won't complain when the Saudis sign Partey and El Neni. As I said, I'm not complaining about the Saudis signing players.
You mean just Chelsea's
There's
involvement?
a bit of this deal's a little dodgy. Let me finish these, right?
Such a great
Ruder Boy 94 says the Saudis have not got anyone huge that's not at the end of their careers. Or Ruben Neves is a player that I think most Premier League teams would want.
He's also linked to Barcelona.
Just on his way, linked to Barcelona. And Barcelona couldn't afford him, and now he's going to Saudi Arabia. LJ Brown says, I bet that Bubbles hero Bobby Lyle thinks that the German giraffe will be a good signing at Arsenal. Adrian says Saudi invests in Fly Emirates, Robbie. Your tin pot. You see, you guys are taking this personal, Chelsea fans, but there's facts here.
They do.
Man, you are stressed
if you sold
that we can flog our Deadwood. And Sachiv says, stop hating on Chelsea. They're showing ambition. Babagad says, dodgy is not illegal.
that's fair.
Don't see the fuss.
Smart business.
That's fair, yeah.
He sounds like the owner of Man City. Soldiers First says, just join. Thoughts on Bournemouth sacking. We just spoke about that. We all think that's awful. Adrian Stake says, PIF, which is the Saudi Investment Fund, own a 5% stake in the Emirates and loses company to your tin pot, Robbie. Read the facts. Clear Lake don't even have a large percentage in Chelsea like they do in KSE. Road King says, Matisse, they're pissed. Saudis came to our rescue. We're not going to get burned with FFP like they expected. Rishbath says, C. Wilson will be offloaded for 30 million to Saudi for FFP. African Giant says, dodgy objective, act of utilising connections to further elevate one's business enterprise. Arsenal fans continue to take L's. And last one here, R2 says, why can't people do their research? PAF owns less than 5% in Clear Lake, right? All investments, not just football, don't even have a controlling stake to influence any deal. Motorisation of buys kept Chelsea in FFP check. These questions have to be asked, people. These questions have to be asked. Let's just go back to the Saudi thing anyway, because I said it on the show about a month ago that Saudi Arabia, at the moment, they're taking, mainly older players at the end of their career, players in the twilight of their career, they say. But when I said it, I go, what when they start getting younger players, which I think they will. I met a load of Saudi fans when I was over, and you did as well, Flex, when we was over at the World Cup. They are really passionate about football. I don't think it's the same as like when China were getting involved. They are really, really passionate. They've got a good international side that always does well over in Asia. And I think if they, I think their football games will be well attended. You know what I mean? This is a nation on the rise when it's coming to football.
Especially because of the stars they got.
Now that Neves is going there, what other players will they be able to tempt? Because you think about it, if you're a player and say you're 25, and they come with that big, life-changing amount of money and offer you a 3-year contract, you're going to be tempted. I mean, you've already seen what the Saudis have done with boxing. In that now you've got boxers like Tyson Fury who don't want to fight in the UK in a stadium because he's going to get like 10 million for that, and he can go to Saudi and get 100 million for that. I heard a story where in Saudi Arabia they were thinking to do the Tyson Fury versus Usyk fight on a yacht.
Oh my days, that would be
There's
insane.
about 50 people, and they can afford to do it.
But can I say
could the Saudis, let me just say this,
Their money's a lot.
could they change the face of football for good with the amount, for when I say for good, I mean forever, with the amount of money that they are now pumping into the game?
But for me, it's the way the media portray it, right? Because when America come with, we're going to take all the all-stars, we're going to take all of the older players from Europe, no one complain.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I know you're not. But I'm just saying, everybody here has American ownership. If American clubs in the MLS come and buy players from European clubs, so they take a couple Man United players, a couple Liverpool players, no one says, oh, there's a connection, there's a conspiracy going on. It's the way the media report it, in my opinion. Now people are starting to get really like, oh my God, there's players going to Saudi, we're going to lose the quality of our league. When there's players leaving Nigeria, Ghana, and coming all the way to France and coming into Europe, do you think they're not thinking the same thing? All this Premier League money, all this European money, it's only because our game is going to be affected. Now everybody's starting to cry about it.
Actually, on that point, you could say right now, all the clubs around Europe are complaining about the Premier League.
They are, exactly.
Because of the amount of money the Premier League has. So now we're complaining because there's someone richer than us.
But
now there's somebody who's got more money.
It's kind of hypocritical, to be honest. We've
is.
got all the money in the Premier League. We take all these players. European leagues have more money than a lot of African clubs. They take all their players. And now there's someone bigger than us that's taking all our players. We're going to have to suck it up, I'm afraid. That's just how it is.
They won't moan. The level of moaning won't go up until, like you said, it's more players in the prime. So because like the Ronaldo situation happened at Man United, and he was like surplus basically, wasn't really getting in. Even in the World Cup, you could see it. You could see the decline. So usually what you get is players in the MLS, again, players at the back end of their careers. Rooney, Gerrard.
You get a couple here and there, like Javinko.
Yeah. Right, but the top, no players really go there in their prime. Zlatan, etc. Even though he left there and then still carrying on, but he's a different beast. Yeah. The same in China, apart from Oscar. When I remember when he left, they had this a little bit where you kind of raise your eyes at that point. But I think because the biggest trophies in club football aren't considered to be in these countries.
Talk me point, lad.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's what
I mean.
That's exactly what I think.
Because the pinnacle, like the South American players, want to hurry up and get to Europe because you can win the Champions League.
I was about to say.
You can win all these different domestic leagues. Whereas if you win, and no disrespect to these leagues, by the way, because like you said, the fans in these plethoras of football that we don't really watch is insane. You go to a Mexican derby in their league and go and see what it's like. You go to the Brazilian league and go and see what it's like. Insane. Yeah. But those players from like Vasco da Gama and Santos and Fluminense and all these type of teams, they want to get out and get to Europe because of that. Hardly any of the Brazilian team.
Yeah, but it's not just for that. They're coming for the money, aren't they?
Yeah.
First and foremost,
because
most of the Brazilian players would like to stay in Brazil.
Yes, I know
but they're coming to Europe for the money, just like now European players.
They're coming money talks.
And if you're a Brazilian player, you might say to yourself, well, actually, they're paying me more money over in Saudi Arabia,
this
so
guy
I'll go
here
there.
on the screen, this guy here on the screen spoke for years. At the end of every season, he wants to get out of Wolves, wants to win a big trophy.
Wants to play in the Champions League.
Yeah. Ronaldo said it. I'm still going to play in the thing. Yeah, I want to play in the Champions League. So money does talk. But what I'm saying is predominantly, when Matisse was saying about like, because you're right, like the way that like the Middle East is reported versus to how that like we're cool with America, so it's all right, sort of thing, where it gets a little bit political. But I feel like them players were usually at the end of their careers. What is going to be interesting to see now is, like you're saying, how many players in Neves's like bit of his career will go there.
But Neves is not like a top.
No, he's not. No,
that's the thing.
This
like,
is
Neves
the point.
is at Wolves. He's been available
He's
every summer. Yeah, he is. But no one's come in for him. So it's like, why is everybody like now crying about losing Ruben Neves when Ruben Neves was never not available? If you wanted to pay up for Ruben Neves, you could have come in for him.
I do feel that this is the start of other players, and it might be that sort of Ruben Neves level and just a bit below. As that league starts to build, more and more players will come. I think the key to it is if the Saudis are able to nail some sort of TV deal,
That's what it is.
when the football starts getting shown in Europe, starts getting shown in England, if they nail that, then all of a sudden, and you say about the Champions League and that, but remember as well, FIFA at the moment, they're trying to bring in this new sort of world sort of competition they've been talking about, World Club competition.
It's all
which
gonna
would be,
change.
I think,
instead of the Champions League, that would be like you'd have the best teams from Saudi Arabia, from Asia. You've already got it in. You've already got it in that sort of Super Cup, innit?
Yeah, it's like the club.
But they
Cup.
want to turn it into.
expand it.
They want to expand it and turn it into a competition. So if you then
happening.
have that and you have a league, so then you can have the best teams in Asia, best teams in America, best teams. All of a sudden, going to Saudi and playing for one of the top teams in Saudi
against
with,
Real
say,
Madrid.
a couple
Then you
of
get to play
really
against all the
top
best European
players
teams.
against Real Madrid, against Man United, against PSG. All of a sudden, it changes
And
things.
It does, right?
Saudis have got to be taken seriously.
Absolutely.
Listen, when it comes to business, they are some of like you said, they've invested in some of the biggest companies in the world, in everything.
This is
not
happening
just
in
football,
everything, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So if they've got to be taken seriously, and it could change football, not right now.
I agree.
But in the next 5 to 10 years, we could
I
be
think
looking
longer.
at a different game.
I think longer, right? So what they're doing right now, you make money from attention, right? How do you get attention? You bring big names into your league, right? And they can get TV deals. So Robbie was absolutely correct. The thing that they've got against them right now is 100% the media, and also history. Everyone that plays football grows up and wants to win the biggest trophies in football. And what are they? The World Cup, without a shadow of a doubt. But number 2 for me is that Champions League. That is football heritage. You want to play there. So what Saudi need to do, in my mind, is buy these big players and get the attention there, get a solid TV deal. After that, they need to heavily invest in their coaches, their youth academies, and all these type of systems, which is going to give them longevity, because it's going to take generations for this league to be one of the best in the world. It's not going to happen overnight. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at it. We've seen it with MLS and we've seen it with China. It doesn't matter. You can have all the money in the world. You need to be able to build an infrastructure that is exciting and has that attention on it all the time, because the young best players. Because in reality, like what Robbie was saying, players in Brazil come to us because we pay them a lot of dough. And Real Madrid, Liverpool, Man United, we've all tapped up these Brazilian clubs, and that's what Saudi are doing right now.
Yeah,
going to the Premier League.
They're doing.
And go, get your little fish there, lad.
When people having a go at them, actually, they are literally doing what we've been doing for years.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have a go at Saudi. If you do, that
never go at Chelsea, but I don't know.
It's not fair.
We're almost getting kind of flogged here. Actually, now you think about it, like we're losing all our players to Saudi. Like we're getting bullied. Let's start that narrative, actually. When you think about it, we're getting bullied.
Yeah.
There was a report, right, that 2 Liverpool players have been contacted by a Saudi Arabian team to be bought. We don't know what players they were, but even that shocked me. I was like, wow.
It's happening, but we can't be atting them saying it's a disgrace.
The obvious one is Mo Salah.
Yeah, it is.
Who's probably, when you talk about Muslim players, probably the biggest Muslim player in the world.
Yeah.
Right? He, for me, would be as big a catch as getting Ronaldo, or nearly as big, right?
Yeah.
Are you worried about that? Say maybe next season the Saudis come knocking for Mo Salah with an unbelievable deal?
No, and I'll tell you why. 1, he's going to be 33 by the end of next year. 2, he's won everything with Liverpool. He's done absolutely everything we could have dreamed of him doing, and more. And so if he wants to go to a Muslim country and have his practices there and feel comfortable in the countries where he's at and celebrate that and play his football in that country, mate, go there. And absolutely, I want you to, because it means as well we'll get a big, massive fee for you.
So you take the money then?
Absolutely, I'll take the money, lad. At 33, I'm not being disrespectful to him. I just think at 33...
How long has he got left on his deal?
2 or 3 years, I think it is. And so that means he's going to be a little chunk of change. And
it looks perfect, yeah.
And I'm not disrespecting him at all. I love Mo Salah, Liverpool fans. It's nothing about that. I just think at 33, if we're going to get a big cash bundle for him, he's not going to get that from anywhere else. No other European club's going to come in and go, we'll give you 100 million for Mo Salah, who's 33, lad. Okay, yeah, take him, lad. Like, it's just business, lad.
Does it depend on how good Salah is in these latter years, though, as well? Because you may see a drop-off. We thought we saw a drop-off last year. No. But actually... that was because Liverpool in their entirety had a drop-off. But if you look at his numbers,
he's brilliant,
he's just Mo Salah.
He's boss.
Just doing what he always does, which is score goals. I think you would probably... And actually, let me ask you this. Would would you maybe not feel that way if you still see that he is still that same Mo Salah, and it feels like you're not just losing a player coming to the back end? It's like, actually, he's got 2 years left on his deal, and he's still doing the business.
Very convoluted question, because that goes to say, is Darwin Núñez going to fulfil his potential? Is Gakpo going to be good? If they can do their jobs well, and that means that he can take a side role, then yeah, cool, I can do that. And if he is playing that well, then a huge, hefty price tag, 150 mil, 200 mil, something stupid.
And the last year or two of his contract.
Yeah, don't care.
Because that's what I was thinking. What type of money would you get for Salah with 2 years left?
I reckon 100 mil. 100 mil.
100 mil?
33-year-old, 100 mil.
I don't think so.
I do, lad.
So, but if Saudi come in with the big money for Salah that no one else would pay, on wages that no one else would pay, what's the narrative then? No one will say anything.
Mate, the narrative...
because they haven't invested in us, that's why.
Is that transactional?
And we're not Chelsea.
Thank you, I'm glad. I'm just saying, Robbie. I'm just saying, Robbie. You know what I mean? Like, it's everybody
just
can eat here. It's not just us. Everybody can eat. Party, everybody.
He's right to defend. He's defending them right. But we also support Chelsea Football Club, and that's why we're questioning you, lad.
That's all there is to it, lad. Bro, it's 5%, bro. It's 5%.
I know, but all the other history and all throughout the last 20 years and all that madness, lad,
just for me to put a last pin in it, if they weren't buying players all across the world from all clubs, I'd be like, okay, it's just Chelsea. Maybe there is something going on. But they're going for everyone. So
okay,
yeah,
there's talk even today that they're interested in possibly in Thomas Partey. Ellie Shifty says, tired of Arsenal fans acting like they are most perfect model club. Talk about
it's been so tribal, isn't it?
I know.
Like nobody likes anyone.
Talk about Zinchenko, having other people about him. John says the Chelsea thing is clever. It's like me having shares in Ferrari, then buying a car from them a year later. 100% legal, just sneaky.
Yeah.
A little yo-yo says, want to remind Arsenal want to sell 2 of their best defensive midfielders. Okay, thanks for reminding me. Manchester United.
Yo-yo, my guy.
Manchester United transfer business at the moment. Good news for you. Marcus Rashford looks like he's signing a new deal.
Good.
Yeah, it does. Do you know what? I think the main gripe with Man United fans could be like the reported figure he's going to be on. Like, I think he's going to replace De Gea as like the highest paid
Your
player
wages are high as well already.
Because we pay like 375.
They've got high wages.
It's a hefty price.
375.
Crazy money.
De Gea's on that, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
De Gea,
so he's going to replace him as that. As the highest paid player.
Do you know Jadon Sancho's on 350k?
100%.
350k?
Man United been doing up Saudi wages, exactly. So that's our biggest problem, is the fact that actually we pay players too high. So as a United fan, am I happy that Marcus Rashford's going to sign a new deal? Yes, of course. I think he's a player that I think because he's not as polished as maybe other players. Like, so if you look at someone like Jadon Sancho, you'd say, oh, Jadon Sancho, football IQ, way better than Rashford. Oh, his touch and all these kind of things, way better than Rashford. Mate, if you're playing a game tomorrow, who do you want to play for you?
The most effective player.
Most effective player is people like Rashford. And some Man United fans may think, listen, for how Ten Hag wants to play, he's still not quite there yet. They would rather have moved him on. I can't speak for every Man United fan.
Rashford.
Some Man United fans. But for me, as an academy player and someone who I think under this manager as well, we've just seen what he's capable of. All it does is raise expectancy though, which should happen. Now we need to see Rashi put up these numbers on a consistent basis. Obviously, no one's got a God-given right to score 30 every single season, but you're going to want some serious output for that on a consistent level. The biggest thing with Rashi has just been how often can he put numbers on the board. But actually, to use Mo Salah as a benchmark, people like him and people like Son in his prime, kind of and Mane, Kane, but he's a 9. Yeah. Have put this thing on wingers that the new norm for the winger is if you're not banging 20, 25, like you're a dead winger.
Boss.
That's not really the case. That's just anomalies in Mane and Salah who did that and a Son basically.
System, isn't it? It's all down to system.
But really, your winger, if your winger gets the key used to be, can your winger get double figures goals, double figures assists? If it's 12 and 13, if it's 14 and 10, you're like, my winger's done well.
Like a Bernardo Silva.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it isn't necessarily, if the team progresses how I think it should with this manager, Rashi doesn't have to score 35 goals every season and have to be the main man. Salah is that. Yeah. But who can be the next Mo Salah?
For me as well, though. For me, him staying there, right? So Liverpool have Trent. You have Rashford. You have Saka. You have Mason Mount.
Or Reece James, yeah.
Mason.
Because it's not going to be Mount anymore.
Yeah, that's why I said it. I was like,
He's going to be Carrington instead of Cobham, mate.
But what you need them players, right? Because what they do is all the young lads and all the lads that come in from different teams, they go, this is Liverpool, this is Man United, this is Arsenal, lad, this is what we stand for. You need to play for this badge, lad. And the talismans in the dressing room as well. So more than just scoring goals, he offers so much in the dressing room, I can imagine. Plus, he's a fantastic person, lad. So why don't you want a model professional like that who represents your club and your city?
Ours, man.
He's a wonderful. I like him a lot, lads.
What about David De Gea? Because
that's the one.
Is there a new deal for him?
Well, the recent reports coming out is that Samuel Luckhurst of Manchester Evening News, very close to Man United, he said today that Man United want a new number one goalkeeper, and we've known that for the last few weeks in terms of an agreement had been reached or supposedly reached, but just hadn't been signed off yet by Erik ten Hag. What is he waiting for? Well, what he's waiting for is in the back end of the season.
Saudis.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, but he's a free agent. He's a free agent. No, he's a free agent. He's not waiting for. He's a free agent, so he can go anywhere. He's waiting to see how much money we're going to have in terms of the allocation because it's slim with the takeover.
Yeah.
Can we go and get a starting keeper? Erik ten Hag doesn't want that.
Who do you think that starting keeper?
Raya. Raya, isn't it?
No, he's going to go Spurs, I believe.
Is he?
I think it's Onana, Manchester United got a lot of interest in.
From Inter Milan.
From Inter Milan. Diogo Costa as well. About 50 million euros is being quoted.
I think they want more. We tried 50 million euros. It was like, we want more money.
So we'll have to wait and see. But just by freeing up this guy, just on his wages alone, free up £19.5 million. You know that?
Mad.
So really, the best part of him going, then you sell Dean Henderson to Forest for 20 million. You pretty much got your own Arna there by saving like basically 40 million. So
he's a good player.
Yeah, he is. And whoever it is, they need to get it right. But that's. I think those two things happening, that's positive. Because if you think about it, Erik ten Hag in one season, right, has essentially got rid of one of the Man United greats in Ronaldo.
Rightly so.
He's got rid of the captain. Even though he's still
Rightly
there,
so.
he ain't playing. He needs to find a solution. And he's just got rid of the keeper who's got the most clean sheets, got Golden Glove, and has said throughout the season how much he rates him.
How did he get
See you later. So actually, it shows that the manager's in control. It shows that he is not afraid to make big decisions on the big players.
Yeah.
Liverpool interested in Ryan Gravenberch.
Yeah, we've been interested in him for a while.
Piss me off if you get.
He's a good little player. He's injury prone a little bit. I think he'd be fantastic for Ajax, mate. When you seen him for Ajax when he was a younger kid, he was phenomenal. Like, he looked like he was emerging as one of the like a proper Jude Bellingham type of character. Brilliant talent on him. But I don't know if it's going to happen. I think they're reluctant to sell him to him. There's a few midfielders Liverpool are linked with, so many at the moment. Like Barella, for example. I know Newcastle want him. That's a fella I would actually look at and think he's perfectly suited to Liverpool. Liverpool need a lot of options. We've got that Thuram, we've got Kone, Barella, like there's so many options that we could buy. We just need to get it going. Because
how many more do you need in midfielders?
4 lads. We let 4 go. We need to bring 4 players in at least. We're looking at
4 midfielders.
4 players. So we're looking at a centre back as well, Van der Van. I don't know if you've heard of the lad. He's a left-footed centre back from Wolfsburg, and I think the reason why we're doing that, right, is Trent.
Yeah.
Trent is going to be that midfielder. We all seen him for England the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I know it was only against Malta, no disrespect to your country and stuff, but wow, didn't he run the show, lad? He was phenomenal. And even in the last part of Liverpool's season in the Premier League against top teams, he got the most assists in the Premier League season, lad. He was incredible.
Would you not just move him to midfield?
That's what it's going to happen.
Right back? Because I've been calling for this for ages, and I just don't know why people are so hesitant to see him in midfield from the get-go.
Because he's a great right back as well, lad.
I know, but he can't defend.
No, I get that. But what Liverpool are doing right now is changing systems. Klopp is trying to be more dynamic, and if I'm honest with you,
Pep.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but he's sort of copying Pep's model.
Yeah.
He is, lad.
He
and
is, but it's
fair play
working.
to him, because Pep is
though.
the tactical genius. So fair play to him for not having an ego in it, lad, and just going, this works. Yeah. I've got a player there that can play that role fantastically well, and in my opinion, plays it better than Stones. He does so far. For me, he does.
It's because
before Pep did that, he was Arteta.
Yeah,
he was doing it with Zinchenko. But yeah, I mean,
where do you learn that from?
Where do you learn that from?
Yeah. It all links back to Pep, mate.
The influence Pep's had.
I think we could see Trent playing in there, definitely this season, and that might save you the money on a midfielder.
That's
Just go
what
and
he's
get
doing.
right back.
I mean, in reality, I'm not going to say that Trent is a better midfield than Jude Bellingham. I'm not going to say that. Yeah.
No, because we wouldn't allow you to say that. Doyle.
Slow down there,
We
buddy.
know you're not going to say that because that's not allowed to be said, yeah? So you don't need to tell us that, yeah?
That would be very bad from Liverpool fans.
See
to
what
run that
I mean?
narrative.
He's on such a good bit, and then you...
Yeah,
didn't
that would
say
be
it.
that.
All right,
He
okay.
didn't say
All
it.
right. All right. Where you going with
He
this?
didn't say it,
I'm
but somebody
not
else plans
saying
on.
it, okay.
He's just saying that somebody else in the Liverpool fan base plans on starting
Exactly.
this initiative. that
Yeah,
he's-
and I don't
Yeah.
agree. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't agree. He's a boss player, but I don't agree.
Yeah.
But I do think that if you're going to have the next replacement for somebody like Jude Bellingham, Trent is probably a really good backup to that option, right? He's very close to him. He's not he's not as good as him, but
Bellingham
distribution-wise
starts in
and all that
midfield.
type
He
of
doesn't
stuff.
come from right
I
back.
agree, and so that's why I don't think we're going to start him in midfield immediately because it's going to take some transitional period.
Yeah.
He does.
Okay.
Playing
Yeah.
central midfield is a different...
I agree,
Listen,
lads.
want to get 1,000 likes up on the video at least. We've got over 5,000 of you watching live, so thank you very much for that. Let's move it on. Actually, we give us a bit of Arsenal stroke Chelsea talk because Kai Havertz.
Oh yeah.
This one seems to be moving close. Wouldn't surprise me if this gets done this week for round about £60 million. We're being told.
That's a lot of money, Robbie. Where'd you get that from? 60
What have you heard?
Oh, no, I've heard the same thing. I'm just thinking to myself, why are you guys
They
giving
got it
us
from
so
the
much
Emirates money, the
Yeah, I'm
sponsorship.
getting the Emirates
well,
money coming in real quick.
Well, apparently Chelsea want more than
We
more.
do.
They want
We're
about
taking the
65
absolute
million.
piss.
How much
about
is Bayern?
65
They're
million?
taking the
75?
absolute
That
piss.
Arteta
is
is-
balancing our books, literally.
But Arteta is really
I like that. I like
loves
Arteta.
Kai Havertz
Yeah.
and wants to bring him in, and I wouldn't be surprised if that one happens this week. Of course, there's the Declan Rice one as well.
Super
Sorry,
Mick
sorry,
Arteta.
Sorry, just
he
quickly.
knows exactly
I know we
need.
spoke about this on Thursday, didn't we? And I said to you, do you want him? And you was like, not really, but if Arteta does, then you'll...
Yeah, I'll trust him.
I can't see how it fits.
Do you know what, right?
Apart from you guys convincing yourself because you trust the
No.
manager. Isn't it though?
No.
He's gonna play false nine, centre
I'll tell you what it is. Why?
And I'm not even trolling. I'm actually being serious. I don't see how.
I understand where you're coming from, but I'll tell you what it is, right? And let me explain. Well, I just have to just say I trust him. I remember we was getting Ben White. And I was like, why do we need Ben White? I go, you know what I mean? We've got Saliba coming back. Why are we spending £50 million when we've got a limited budget on Ben White? And then he brings in Ben White, and I see the man play at a right back last year. I'm like, oh my God. And I think Ben White as well is made for that same thing. I reckon where he will be dropping into midfield. He was already doing some of that last season. So I've got to look at it and say with the Havertz thing, listen, when Havertz was at Leverkusen, he was an excellent player. I wanted him at Arsenal at those times.
Yeah.
Listen, there ain't no doubt at Chelsea, I've been like, boy. But I just have to trust that they're gonna.
So it's more out of trust for the regime than like.
Yeah, it is more out. Is that more out of
personally,
trust?
you wouldn't go.
Because
What do I need this summer?
No, personally,
Yeah.
I looked on it and I thought, why?
Yeah.
But you know, all the talk is that Mikel Arteta has looked on it and says that he sees an opportunity that Havertz is available, and he's like, yeah, he's admired him from time, and he's obviously got an idea of where he wants to play.
He's 24 as well.
I think he could play, possibly even be in that Xhaka role.
He's 24.
I do get the feeling he's going to play in the midfield.
The biggest problem with Arsenal last season, they were fantastic and they played wonderful football, but what was the biggest problem they had? Depth.
Yeah.
And that's what they're bringing in right now with a Champions
But
League
£60
winner,
million is a
Premier League
lot of
winner.
money.
However,
It's
he's
a lot of money for
24,
squad
lad.
depth.
He's
A lot of money for
24
depth.
though, so he's got longevity in there. And what is your squad? One of the youngest in the
Yeah.
Premier League.
It's a lot
I think
of money
it'd be-
for squad
I think
depth.
it's good.
It's a
I
lot of
do.
money for squad
I
depth.
do.
I'm
I
just
do.
saying at Bayer Leverkusen, he played kind of in the right channel.
And he
that's,
played, yeah.
That's where
and he could
Odegaard
play there.
plays.
He could
So,
play there.
that's
It's
why it
going to be
confuses me a
interesting.
little bit.
I would say
Yeah,
for me,
it's brilliant for me because he was going to be on the bench for us behind Nkunku. We're selling squad depth for 70 million to Arsenal, who are going to use him as squad depth, and they've also
60.
paid 8.
Cities,
They also
right.
paid 10 million for Jorginho
Cities.
for squad depth, and his contract was running out in 3 or 4 months. So I think there's a little bit of something dodgy
Well,
going on. with
Jorginho, I think,
Arsenal.
has done well at Arsenal. So, again,
Giving us
that's
80 million in a couple
again,
months.
Again, that's another one because Jorginho, I think how I've seen him playing for Arsenal, he seems to suit Arsenal way better than what he did in your system.
And that's why I think Havertz.
But are you
will be as
keeping
well.
him?
That's exactly it.
Are you keeping Jorginho?
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
no, but Jorginho in his prime at Chelsea was like next to someone like Kovacic was wicked.
Yeah,
If
but
Arsenal sell
I'm
Jorginho
I'm really
after
going to have
5
to
months.
listen with this one. It is one where I say I have to trust the manager because personally, I was shocked when I saw us going in for Kai Havertz, but it looks like that could be happening. Bayern said that they're not going to move him for Kai Havertz because they've already been told that he's definitely going to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Chelsea as well, stepping up the talks for Caicedo. Now, apparently Chelsea offered £60 million. That was rejected by Brighton,
Why are you
who was
buying
said to
more,
want more than 80 million. Tony Bloom, the owner of Brighton,
Here
said...
comes all the hate.
I just
Bring
can't
it in.
believe it.
I know you like Caicedo.
Hold
Bring
on,
it in.
on the Caicedo one, Tony Bloom said if Declan Rice and that are going for that sort of money, I want 100+ million.
I think that's
for
a little
Caicedo as well. I don't think they'll get that,
Yeah.
but certainly it's going to be about at least 80 to 90 million, isn't it?
I think that's unfair on Declan Rice, considering he's been doing it for years.
Yeah,
It's Caicedo's
people-
first season.
It's mad.
I agree.
But this is a player that everybody kind of wanted. Arsenal wanted, Liverpool fans definitely would have wanted. I'm sure Man United fans next to
Easy.
Casemiro would have wanted.
Easy, yeah.
And people will say, why are we going for him? But we've just lost a generational player in Kante.
Yeah.
After getting bullied by Saudis because we couldn't get him to get a new contract, and he's obviously signed there. So we do need to replace.
With a smart car, it's all about money,
and
isn't it?
This is a great compliment.
Bullied,
It's a
yeah,
great
couldn't offer him,
compliment to
yeah.
Enzo Fernandez. It really is a great compliment to Enzo Fernandez. And then we've got a lot of young players behind that coming through in Santos and Cassidy as well, who've just had good under-20
The
World Cup
blueprint for
tournaments.
Chelsea, and the Makalele, the Kante, the Caicedo.
So
Yeah, I get it.
I'm excited about Caicedo. I think it's needed. And judging by how much money they're about to give us, we have enough money for Caicedo.
The thing with Chelsea is, I've been arguing about this actually with a few guys on our channel. I talked to Owen about it, and because he just thinks Chelsea, he said they're still going to be rubbish next season. They can't just, go from that to, And I'm like, look, we all had our laughing at Chelsea thing. They laughed at themselves for the whole season. They joined in, and it's still going.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if they do get their act together at some point, which I think they will at some point, once they trim that squad, it might take them a couple windows or whatever. Once they trim it to where they need it to get to, they've still got money, which we obviously know about. They've got a good manager now in Pochettino.
Yep.
If you're talking about the players that they do actually have that are in the plans, and this is me bigging up Chelsea actually. If you look at it and go, right, let's just say fully fit, Reece James, Thiago Silva's still there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thiago Silva, Fofana, Chilwell, Gonna sort out another goalkeeper probably, but you're gonna keep one of them.
Yeah.
Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. Then if you say, obviously you've got Badia Shields, he's a good young player as well, I really like him.
And Kunku coming in.
And Kunku's coming in.
Yeah.
Obviously they're going to get another
Sterling's still
striker.
there. Yeah.
And what's his face?
Well, I think Jackson from Villarreal is meant to be the striker that we're
Jackson,
getting.
yeah.
And
35
Mudryk,
million euros.
people laughed at him, 007 or whatever you want to laugh at him. Kid just come there, high price tag, all the stuff that went on with Arsenal. Probably just needed that season to end to get pre-season. He looks good. He could be a good player, man.
Technical footballer.
Like Chelsea could get their act together a lot quicker than we think.
I think they will.
I do
think
too.
they will. I just don't think they'll be challenging for the league, though.
No,
I don't think they'll be challenging for the league. But they're going to be a problem for all of us
I
in the
do
top
think
four.
They'll be much
they're
better
going to be
than
refreshed under Pochettino as well.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully.
let me do some of these super chats here. Steve says with the revenue these players bring in and the fees, they're 100% justified to be asking for the wages that they're asking for at United. It's just the way it is nowadays. And he says we are a massive club. Anilika MCFC says the Premier League is terrified. Khaldoon is on fire. The prodigal Fraudson says if it wasn't Arteta who started, it was Pep, the great Lam. That's true. Actually, you are very true there. Well, I stand corrected. Then Pep with the great Delph with Zinchenko. Arteta is copying Pep's 2018-19 team. Copy and paste Sane's Sterling team. Arteta doesn't have a plan B. And AMT says, do the Man United and Liverpool fan here trust their respective managers and coaches?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, they sound like they definitely do.
100%.
Let's play on the game we played last week.
The yes and no one?
The yes and no game. Right? I don't know if you've got your paddles here. Let me get one for you here, Matisse.
Dash.
Right?
His is just yes for everything.
120 mil? Yes.
Yes, we've got unlimited money to buy anything, and yes, we'll offload anyone for any money.
Yeah. Dodgy.
Gonna do it just the same we did it last week. I ask you a player, and simply you hold it up and you be like to the cameras, yes or no to signing that player. And remember, it's if you are in control of the purse strings at your football club, would you sign the player that I'm talking about? So let's start off with a really easy one. Victor Osimhen of Napoli. You're gone. Yeah. Oh, you're gone no.
Who do you want instead?
It's a lot of money.
Shut up.
Are you saying no?
Shut up,
A
man.
lot of money.
Money.
Why? You just spend 120 mil on
Why
Enzo
do you say
Fernandez.
no?
Think how much peas you're going to get for Lukaku somehow from some loophole.
Do you know what it is with Osimhen? He's had a great season at Napoli, don't get me wrong. But I'm not 100% sure on him. Not 100% sure yet.
All right.
Why are you not 100% sure of him?
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's PTSD, but I just wouldn't spend that much money on him. I would prefer. I actually like the fact that we've gone in for someone a little bit more low key.
Is that probably the image of Poch? Because he's not going to get...
He has been consistent, though, because even before... Even when he was at Lille, he was scoring goals as well.
I was about to say, his upward curve is got that fire in his belly from getting rejected.
Every transfer is a gamble, but...
Yeah, it is,
That's...
I'm just scared.
He also scored.
That's Chelsea's issue.
Yeah,
that's you lot.
Okay. All right, next one. Kim Min-jae, another player from Napoli, this centre-back. Manchester United have been interested in him. Looks like he's going to be heading to Bayern, though. That is what a lot of us say. But Kim Min-jae, centre-back.
We don't need a centre-back.
Yeah, you're right.
We don't need a centre-back.
But now that we're not... But the fact that we're not getting him...
Right-footed, isn't he?
Right-footed, yeah.
Back up to Saliba.
The fact that we're not getting him, though... Like, I can see why, like, because of the priorities and the money. Like,
what did you say? Yes.
I said yes because I'd have him in my squad.
Yeah.
But like, with what I've got to sort out right now, he's not. I wasn't like a lot of Man United fans who were like, oh, we were missing out on players again. We let Bayern come and like, that's not our starting situation. Like, we got other stuff to fill. So yeah, I would
yes
have
as well.
Yeah, with Gomez not playing his best, Matip's injury prone, Virgil's not at his best either. We've got Kanate, but we do need another centre back. Liverpool.
Yeah. A player that may be available from another Premier League club. Jadon Sancho.
Nope.
What do I do? What do I do with this thing? Just hold it upside down.
Sort of, yes. Come see,
Okay. Here's another one. Mark Gay of Crystal Palace.
Yes. Get here.
Yeah, because if he went, that's the type of mould I think we do need. Yeah.
He's boss. He's young lad. He's Premier League proven.
Yes. I think
he's a good player, mate.
Good player
Do you know, as a Chalobah replacement, and if we sold too many guys, then
he's a good player.
Yes. Yes, all round. So okay. Ruben Neves, who's obviously you can't get now because he's going to.
I don't even
Saudi
rate man
Arabia.
how people rate him, you know.
I've always liked him. I've always liked
long
him.
shot.
Robbie,
He's a long shot
like
merchant
team on
lad.
the back foot, yeah. When they used to play a back five, him and Moutinho in midfield, space and time, ping it left, ping it right.
I think he's an underrated player.
He's
Very
all right.
busy in the midfield.
Nah, not
He's all right,
good in
man.
the tackle.
Can't get about the
Great on set pieces.
I think he's a long shot merchant. I think he's got a great long. That's why everyone likes him, because every goal he scored is outside the box. Really, he's all right.
Overhyped, man.
He's a good player. He's a good player, but I just don't. I don't
He doesn't even back himself, lad. He went
You
to
know who's
Saudi League,
overhyped
bro.
like? You know who's overhyped like, in my opinion? Tillemans.
Yeah.
Oh, Tielemans for me is very.
Yeah.
I rate
Overgassed.
Neves more than Tielemans.
Yeah.
But
Still,
Tielemans very
The
over.
gas that
said
gets
that.
put on these players.
It's a good move for him to go to Aston Villa, and it's a good move for Aston
Yeah,
Villa.
that's the
100%.
kind of move I think Neves.
That's
could
the
have
level.
done well.
That, I agree.
Exactly.
Right, here's a
Massively
player.
agree.
Yeah.
Looks like he's. I can't really vote on this one, but looks like he could be leaving Arsenal this summer. Just scored his first goal for the USA. Yesterday, following Balogun, 21 goals last season in the French league.
I haven't got to watch much.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough. Like, he's done obviously really well in France in his breakthrough season. I can't look at that and say at Man United, I'll take him as my backup striker straight away.
Do you know what?
The sample size is not big enough.
Principle of not giving Arsenal any money, I'll say no.
I'll say no.
I'll take the money, but I won't give it.
Robbie, how do you feel as an Arsenal fan? Because I saw quotes because he scored the winner obviously in that Nations game. He said that he's definitely not going on loan.
He says he doesn't want to do
So,
it alone.
how do you stand as Arsenal?
I think he's not going to start at Arsenal. So if he can accept not starting, you keep him. If not, you got to cash in.
Especially with Havertz coming in as well.
If you keep him and get rid of Nketiah, and you have Balogun, Jesus, and then maybe Trossard as like a coming off the flanks, maybe that's a good. I think that's good. You got Champions League football. No one needs to start every single game.
What did you lot go then? You went.
I said no. I said no.
No's all round for following Balogun. All right. Ryan Gravenbeck of Bayern Munich.
Yes, come here, lad. 25 mil, cheap. Come here, lads. We'll sort you right out, kid. No problem.
Nah.
Come here, mate. You play with Ten Hag already.
I'm going for
it's
no.
a sales pitch, yeah?
Yeah.
Ten Hag knows all about you.
Are you
Lads,
buying the Dutch ones, right?
You want someone with nice teeth, good glasses, and a proper full head of hair, lad?
I've got no.
Or fake teeth. You don't want a fake teeth. You want a real guy. Polo all the time. You know what I mean?
I think for the midfielders that we've purchased in Andre Santos, Cassidy, Carney from Aston Villa, I think he's probably of like a similar mould. And again, I haven't seen much of him recently because he's not
potential,
been playing again for Bayern. He's only really played for Ajax. And when I watched him at Ajax, I did think he was good, but I didn't think he'd proved anything to make that move to Bayern yet. I think it was too soon.
Probably a bit too big.
He was
for
only
him,
young, though. He was only 19.
He's really young.
young,
So he's got potential, but we've already got midfielders that have potential, so it's just pointless for me.
Rossman Højlund of Atalanta, heavily linked with a move to Manchester United.
I've seen that.
I was it 9 goals last season for Atalanta?
10, yeah.
Even
me.
Let's see your votes.
Absolutely not, bud.
No.
No. And what are you saying? Yes. Well, you don't even want him.
No.
20 years old.
I don't even know who he is. I do.
Still only 20. Still only 20.
Just the
High
money.
ceiling.
He needs to be our backup striker. The problem we've got is he's probably going to be our main. That's the
really-
problem.
I
Yeah,
like-
that's the
like
big
80 million.
Not for Man United. Man United need like the best strikers.
Yeah,
that in the world.
and it's not. And this is not a striker's market. It's actually a goalkeeper's market.
Yeah.
really, with what's out there and midfielders. Strikers, the level of striker that I want is Kane. And the drop off when you start not looking at Kane / Osimhen is massive this summer.
Yeah,
just because that's the market that it is. There's not a lot of top unquestionable class out there as a striker. It's the gems. It's like or Jonathan David or it's like a tier below.
Yeah.
But this kid's really new. I would trust the manager, like what you're saying with the Havertz thing. And I know he's more proven than Højlund. I'll trust the manager, but absolutely a big no. If for the money that's been touted, some stupid
80 million, I'm hearing.
80 million.
And that's why my thing is right.
Forget
he's worth
it.
80 million.
9
Forget
goals,
it.
18
Then
mil.
Balogun's worth the same then.
Yeah, because he scored
why is
more.
he worth 80 million?
Scored
Yeah,
well
it's
more,
mad,
yeah.
yeah.
You should be getting minimum 50 for Balogun,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
All right, last one. A player's on the move from PSG, Marco Verratti.
Oh, yeah, good.
He's wicked,
Yeah,
but
he's-
not anymore, is he?
How do you know?
I think that's part. I think he's not anymore.
I'd still have him.
He's an exceptional player. I actually love him. But
He's a wonderful player.
I feel like that'll be getting the back end of someone.
Yeah,
to let
yeah.
them
For
come
somebody
and
like
rot in
your
team.
team, he'd be brilliant for your team because he's experienced. He's been there. He's won everything, lads. He'd
Yeah,
be
that's
brilliant
true.
for
I'm going to
Arsenal.
go and
Better than
no though,
Jorginho.
because I just think we've got enough players in that area, but
Fair play.
good player though.
Yeah,
I think
brilliant
Yeah,
player.
but I wouldn't have
I
him.
think he's great.
I've said
Okay.
no to everyone.
Yeah, I've had you have. And
No,
it's
it is. I just
got enough players.
I've got too many
Says
players.
yes
it's
to
true.
everybody, lad.
I've got too many players. I just want to get rid of everyone.
Your club
All right.
would sign me, lad, for 100 mil probably.
Some more super chats here. AMT says, do the Man United and... actually, I already did that one. Kira says, we've got Super Mick Arteta. He knows exactly what we need. 12 million of crap, 60 million for a shat. What's a shat? Right. The Chelsea on their way out of FFP, he says, right? And the Prodigal Fraudson says, HW Pep changes his system
Every year.
when teams figure him out.
Yeah, he
Do you
does.
think Arteta can do the same? All he's done is replicate the 2018 City team. He knew, and Sean says Chelsea's Jackson got more goals than Højlund. Højlund, how do you pronounce this? Højlund, isn't it?
Højlund, yeah.
In less games, and Højlund is priced at like 70 million. He says a big pass from him. Right, just a couple others to tell you about. Bayern Munich still being linked with Kyle Walker. Would that be a good move for Kyle Walker? He's 33 now,
Done it all.
but
Won treble.
Whatever he wants to do, innit?
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the goats, mate.
Yeah,
Whatever he
yeah.
wants
and
to do.
Skamaka.
I
He
think
needs
he's a
to
good
get
player.
out.
I think
He
he's a
needs to
good
get out.
player.
Was
West Ham, though,
described as not having much fight by Mikel Antonio when he did
Yeah.
that
Yeah, but he's
interview on
not. He's
Filthy
not a
Fellas,
battering
but,
ram striker. He's technical.
Yeah, he's been linked with a move to Roma.
Suits him.
That'll
Suits
suit
him
him.
perfect.
Yeah,
Suits him
he needs to
perfect.
get out. He needs to get out of West Ham.
Could leave on a loan or a loan to buy deal, but Skamaka is just that's it. See, this is the thing is when I always say transfer business, all these shiny names, but are they going to work at your club?
Yeah.
And he's found it really, really
I think
difficult.
Skamaka's very underrated. He did well.
Because he hasn't- he's hardly played.
Look at Haller when he left West Ham.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think
sometimes it just don't work.
He's a sneaky
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Well, listen, we've reached the end of the show today. It's been a brilliant one. Still over 5,500 of you watching. Really appreciate it. We're going to be back on Thursday with another transfer show. I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Flex.
Big up, man.
Thank you to you, Doyle, and also thank you to you, Matisse.
You got through it. You defended the Chelsea
Quarter
back
James,
with honour.
quarter James.
Chelsea fans in the
Find my
comments,
momentum.
let us know at home. Do you think Chelsea fans? Do you think Matisse did a good job of circumnavigating
Listen,
the real?
was he a good
situation?
defendant?
Like, Yeah, was he
job
in this court
It's
case?
a job for you in Saudi. You know what I mean?
I would take it. I'm not
On
gonna lie.
about 100 times what?
I'll take it.
On about 100 times what DR Sports are paying.
Hey, would you take it? Would you go?
Yeah. I'm free, man.
Robbie leaves DR Sports.
Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget the Claude Cup on Saturday, the 24th of June. Make sure you get down there. We're raising money for a great cause. The DR Sports All-Stars versus the AFTV All-Stars. It's going to be really, really good on the day. There's more details of that in the link. And thank you very, very much for getting us to 300,000 subscribers. We're on 301 now, so we're moving up to get road to 500,000.
Wow.
That's what we're on right now,
Wow.
and it's all down to you guys. So thank you very much. So make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on Thursday with another transfer show.